Hello, this is going to be a build video on my stand-up jet ski. It's a 86 Kawasaki js550 hull with a 96 Tiger Shark 640 motor in it. I didn't do the motor swap, and when I got it, it ran, but not so good. I had some cooling issues, and I found out that it was the impeller unit. Is in pretty bad shape. This is the prop that came in it. Very bad shape. So it was actually causing my engine to overheat. You'll see this port on the side here. That the whole jet pump housing goes in like this, and that feeds into this tube. It's usually looped and plugs into there, and that cools your motor. This is where it all starts. It gets powered by the impeller, and the tolerances on this jet pump are really bad. So it causes cavitation. You can see plenty of wobble. The bushings in there were shot. I tried swapping out for a bearing, which didn't go the best. But I ended up just getting a new housing. So I got the original housing, and turns out these Kawasaki's had two different types. One that has a prop that threads on to the shaft, and one that has a spline. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's a spline. And I believe it runs on bearings. So I got the new set, and I have a new drive shaft coming in that has a splined end, not threaded. To get that in and out, I do need to pull the motor, which was not mounted well anyways. I ended up losing all but one engine mount bolt, and I just removed that, and I'm going to do a quick time lapse on me removing the motor, and then we'll go from there. Just for quick clarification, what you're going to need to disconnect: the gas tank hoses here. Pretty simple. You've got your feed for your reserve switches. You have your feed line and your return line. So one goes into the carb, one goes out. Not sure which one's which right now, and cycles the fuel that's not being spent. Then you have your vent. Pretty simple. You don't need to remove the gas tank, probably. I did for extra space and everything. It's just one hose clamp and the top there. I wrote top on the top hose here, because if you get them mixed up, the length of your filters is going to change, because one is for reserve and one is for regular gas. You're going to have to disconnect your carb line. That's really easy. Your throttle cable, just bend that back, pop this wire out. Of course, all four of your engine mount bolts. I'd imagine this is very similar to what you deal with on a stock engine. This is just a little bit bigger. Your water lines. This one goes to the piston valve here, comes up here. We're going to disconnect here, and there's also one down at the bottom. Make sure you get that connected, or else you're going to be pumping water into your engine bay and your engine won't be getting cooled. I'm going to pop out my exhaust here so I have some more room. It's just one hose clamp here and 3 bolts from the exhaust manifold. So that's about ready to come out. And then I'm going to try to pop the motor out, and any wires, I'm just going to pull the CDI box out with it. This is the CDI from Tiger Shark that somebody put in there. Kind of a mess, but I might clean that up as I go. So back to it. this point, I've got the CDI all out. Most of my zip ties and everything are all snipped. And where did I put those? The biggest thing is it feels loose, and try to pull it out, still something else, you put it down, pull it out, disconnect something else, put it back in. So you really want to just try to check that everything is disconnected before you have to pull it out and then damage something. So just try to double check everything, and we'll see if I'm able to pull it right now. So I got a piece of plywood here that I can just pick it up and set it to the side, and then we can get to our drive shaft, because that assembly has to come out forwards. So if you're just pulling the motor, you can do it this way. If you're pulling a drive shaft, I would recommend removing your exhaust and your gas tank, because I can kind of see those getting in the way. So it goes. Yep. Down. Perfect. Alright, so I just loosened or took out these 4 bolts. Just 4 of them. This is your automatic bilge pump. It's a siphon powered by your jet pump impeller. This tube is long and does a twirl like this on purpose. So don't shorten it if you're annoyed by it or something, because it's meant to be like that, and that's what causes the siphon. While I'm here, I would definitely clean this pickup screen and clean the entire bay, because that's a good way to get your bilge pump all full of crud. So this just comes out like this, and some people have a really hard time, because I can see some silicone there, but I've heard that people can have a really hard time getting this pulled out. I heard a guy took 4 to 6 hours. So you might need to run a razor blade up underneath to get rid of all that. Not sure what the shims are. I haven't seen that. Maybe that was somebody shimming back there to crack the silicone. I don't know. But I'm gonna have to look into that and see why those are there. But so that's the drive shaft assembly. There's a bunch of bearings and bushings and stuff in there, and then I'm gonna pop in the new one.